Vegalta Sendai supporters have long been known as the J-League's answer to St. Pauli. Eclectic, boisterous and loyal to a fault. Their chants and attire inspired by the likes of Sex Pistols and The Clash, and despite having spent much of the last decade in the second tier of Japanese football, are widely revered as the most passionate fans in Japan.
When they go to grounds in the big cities, they let them know that they're there. There's broken seats, there's fights, there's chaos and carnage. And for Japan, that's quite unusual.
So how did these perennial relegation favourites and their renegade fans galvanise the international football community and become a symbol of hope for an entire nation? This is the story of how one club's tragedy united fans around the world, producing one of the greatest underdog stories in football history. On March the 11th, 2011, as the newly promoted Vegalta squad prepared for their opening match, a magnitude 9 earthquake struck Japan's east coast, triggering a massive tsunami that devastated the entire Tohoku region. It was the most powerful earthquake to ever hit the country, and the tsunami spread 8 miles inland, leaving behind $300 billion in damage and the immeasurable cost of over 19,000 human lives. Vegalta players and staff immediately joined the relief effort, summoning survivors to bring in first aid supplies to the stadium. With gas, electricity and water all cut off, Vegalta supporters turned the grounds into a physical and emotional point of refuge, using it as a hub to organise the relief effort and inspiring people across Japan to join them.
仙台に宿を取って仙台のサポーターがベガルタ仙台のサポーターがですね主催といいますかねやっているボランティア活動支援活動を呼びかけてやっていたんですがそれに参加しました。
One Vegalta fan, Toru, had just gotten married and was about to fly to Europe to watch several football matches.
We couldn't get in touch with them, we couldn't hear any, track them down anywhere. And we started getting really worried.
When communications finally came back online, Toru had called Doug to tell him they had survived.
They got a message through to us on Facebook, basically, that they were still coming to London and that they wanted to meet us by, any means possible.
In between stops at the Camp Nou and Anfield, Doug surprised him with the tickets to see Ipswich Town.
And I rang the club and I said, we've got these 2 friends coming over, we're bringing them to the game. And they've just literally escaped the earthquake in Japan. And the PR basically went, oh, this is incredible, this is just amazing. We're doing something for the earthquake tonight. We're doing like a fundraising thing for it.
This incredible coincidence had been set off by a Seattle Sounders fan who posted an article expressing a heartfelt reminder to all football fans.
I thought it was important to just, try to get the word out to Sounders fans, to know that it actually went outside of the circle of people that I expected to ever read it is pretty awesome.
The videos of Vegalta supporters' epic chants below the note spread throughout the global football community, eventually making their way into Portland Road that day.
衝撃はありました。その揺れがやっと収まった後に、まず思いついたのが妻が駅に働いて駅のところに働いてたので、すぐにですねそちらの方に向かいました。
Pair of them just had come through so much to be sitting in the middle of just this outpouring of love for people that they didn't know and had no idea who they were. Again, it just brings that whole thing back to you of this kind of sort of universal brotherhood of football fans, basically.
Doug was so moved by this event and the incredible outpouring of compassion from around the world that he shared the story with his Sunday League team.
Yeah, this is great. This story is fantastic. Somebody should go and make this. And he went, yeah, why don't you? And I was like, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I've not made a documentary before. You've made loads. I went, no, I'll help. I'll produce it for you if you want. Everybody got involved. Everybody picked up a camera and a tripod or a box and went and did something.
And off they were. Doug and his teammates from Groucho Club's Sunday League team flew to Japan, enlisting in the Vegalta fans' campaign to rebuild their region. What they didn't expect was that the ensuing 2 seasons would turn out to be one of the greatest underdog stories in football history. And for Toru, Doug and his friends, it would be an adventure of a lifetime. After a 6-week hiatus, Vegalta travelled to Tokyo to face Kawasaki. For many supporters, this match would be the first chance to find out whether their friends had survived. As the players took to the field, they were stunned to see 3,500 Vegalta fans standing in the rain. and raising a banner stating they would not lose a game until their hometown was rebuilt. Vegalta would come from 1-0 down to win it in the final minutes.
I think that was the point, that was the kind of the spark between the two when they realised as a club that there was possibly something special in the making and that they could really achieve something.
Over the next few months, Vegalta went on an unprecedented run of 11 straight unbeaten matches and only losing one of their last 13, eventually finishing 4th.
I think what Vegalta Sendai have done, it's almost unique, I think, in world football, and very difficult to explain.
It was a season of heroic proportions. Not only had the newly promoted club managed to pull together the best finish in the club's history, they did so with virtually the same squad, a squad that had been propelled by the unwavering devotion of their fans, and in turn became the focal point of the disaster relief effort.
They really did put the region back on the map, and they became national heroes.
But despite this incredible season, Vegalta was still in big trouble. Nearly 500,000 Sendai residents were displaced or homeless. Undeterred by the monumental challenge off the pitch, the Vegalta supporters, players and club officials reached out to neighbouring cities, donating footballs, boots and goals to other smaller clubs that had been wiped out. They thought of creative ways to raise funds, at one point even selling CDs of their epic chants. Countless other messages, donations and acts of kindness poured in from around the world. Meanwhile, Doug and his teammates stayed on for the ride.
We were living in their homes, we were welcomed in. Everyone, to a man, basically said, it's good you're here because this story needs told. Because a lot of the people in the area felt they'd been forgotten.
When the 2012 season kicked off, few people gave Vegalta a chance of repeating the previous season heroics. But sure enough, Vegalta picked up right where they left off. After holding the top spot for 17 weeks, Vegalta unbelievably found themselves in the midst of a title race with Hiroshima.
仙台に優勝してほしいっていう気持ちはね、自分もものすごく伝わってきました。ぜひその人たちの思いを叶えたいなっていう一心だけでしたね。
But their miracle run came just short, and Vegalta finished second. A dignified and no less historic accomplishment which they dedicated to the victims of the disaster. They've since managed to stay in the top flight for the 7th consecutive season. Against all odds, the club and their fearless fans march on, bringing hope and joy to millions of Tohoku residents. With the support of countless fans around the world, they continue to rebuild their city, brick by brick, pitch by pitch, proving that even in the depths of tragedy, from Sendai to Seattle to Ipswich and amateur teams around the world, we as football fans are all brothers and sisters.